Certain respects, the fundamental defects remained untouched. With her, as with everyone else, Dick had failed to establish emotional contact. Thus, neither her tenderness nor that of his grandmother had succeeded in setting in train the lacking object-relation. I found from Dick's analysis that the reason for the unusual inhibition in his development was the failure of those earliest steps of which I spoke at the beginning of this paper. In Dick, there was a complete and apparently constitutional incapacity of the ego to tolerate anxiety. The genital had begun to play its part very early. This caused a premature and exaggerated identification with the object attacked and had contributed to an equally premature defense against sadism. The ego had ceased to develop fantasy life and to establish a relation with reality. After a feeble beginning, symbol formation in this child had come to a standstill. The early attempts had left their mark in one interest, which, isolated and unrelated to reality, could not form the basis for further sublimations. The child was indifferent to most of the objects and playthings around him, and did not even grasp their purpose or meaning. But he was interested in trains and stations, and also in door handles, doors, and the opening and shutting of them. The interest in these things and actions had a common source. It really had to do with the penetration of the penis into the mother's body. Doors and locks stood for the ways in and out of her body, while the door handles represented the father's penis and his own. Thus, what had brought symbol formation to a standstill was the dread of what would be done to him, particularly by the father's penis, after he had penetrated into the mother's body. Moreover, his defenses against his destructive impulses proved to be a fundamental impediment to his development. He was absolutely incapable of any act of aggression, and the basis of this incapacity was clearly indicated at a very early period in his refusal to bite up food. At 4 years old, he could not hold scissors, knives, or tools, and was remarkably clumsy in all his movements. The defense against the sadistic impulses directed against the mother's body and its contents, impulses connected with fantasies of coitus, had resulted in the cessation of the fantasies and the standstill of symbol formation. Dick's further development had come to grief because he could not bring into fantasy the sadistic relation to the mother's body. The unusual difficulty I had to contend with it in the analysis was not his defective capacity for speech in the play technique, which follows the child's symbolic representations and gives